Aloha and greetings from the light and the love. Um, hmm. so, today I was meditating and did my usual journey down into the earth. Not the usual, but one of my main practices is to journey down into the earth. Something I call the earth journey. And it's always something you learn so much um, from, because every single journey tells you a little bit about the relationship to the earth at the moment with your body. So it tells you about your connection, your grounding, your energetic system. Like to really have that channel, that connection to the earth, to the all the way down to the center of the earth, when you get really involved in it. It's really your energetic integrity, if you will. For so many years I was in the beginning parts of my awakening years and my younger years, like young teens, young 20s, I was always told the message of you have to ground, you have to ground. And I was so airy-fairy. I was this cosmic dust that is slowly learning how to really integrate into this physical body and really anchor down here as this light being that's here. But I had to learn step by step how to really be here in the physical, which is a process. And I would always get this message, you have to ground, you have to ground. And I was like, yeah, but like, if I knew how you do it, like I would do it. I would be grounded. Like you can just tell me to be grounded, but like, like there is something here in the system that's making me ungrounded. I had to uncover all the different pieces, which was kind of keeping me out of my body and up into the air. And then slowly I was learning how to come into my body and more down into my legs and more down into my feet, which eventually became this philosophical whole big journey on what it means to really be here. Not just like feeling your feet and being in your feet, but what it means to really stand in yourself. What it means to really stand with your feet on the ground. And eventually, as I got more and more into my body, which is one part of grounding, it's really coming in here in the physical, being here in your body, experiencing the world from your body. It also became a process of like really next level grounding, what I call it, which was starting to take me down into the earth. And you probably, or I don't know, but there's a very common meditation practice, or before you do any kind of healing work, or is to connect with the earth. And a very simple way is to just visualize this kind of silver line from your body, from your root down into the earth and all the way down into the core, the center of the earth. And I started really practicing that, like much more beyond just visualizing this like thin little silver line coming down into the center of the earth. I would do what's called earth descents, which is really like meditating your way down, deeper down, like moving one part of your consciousness further and further down into the earth. And you can notice instantly there's like the deeper you go, there's different densities, there's different kind of you're shifting, you're within to a certain degree just the lower dimensions, but it's like you're continuously shifting frequencies as well within the dimensions of the second and the first dimension. And and you can really feel it. Like I can really feel it. It's like more and more for me, more and more intense the deeper I go, until you get into the center of the earth, which is like, for me, for a long time was really, really intense just to be there and to really move myself completely into the center. Was just like, you can feel it within your body, in the physical body, because even though a very big part of your focus and your awareness is moving down, you still also have an awareness of your body up here above ground. And in this body you can feel where you kind of tense up in relationship to how low you go. And this is really giving you a pinpoint of different places in your body where you're holding some kind of energetic blockage to a deeper level of grounding your energy. It's something kind of blocking in your system for like fully locking into like the complete grounding feeling. You know, the complete grounding feeling is like, if you had those days when you just were out in the sun, barefoot on the beach, just like your physical body in touch with the ground, with the rocks, with the sand, whatever, for a long period of time. When you do that over a couple of days, you start to feel so natural. You start to feel so like you just want to walk around very like almost naked or very like light clothed. It's like you start to feel so much more relaxed and free. And it's often very funny that it's like linked to like you're more relaxed in also wearing less clothes because you're more natural. It's like just this kind of weird feeling of like having to hide up in your body is like not really being grounded. It's not really being just like in your nature, connected to the nature. Maybe it's not necessarily that the body is like our concept of like it being like too white or too not trained, or maybe it's just the feeling of like not being grounded. It feels kind of like that, like and this whole process of grounding is like the deeper and deeper down you go, you start to also release those densities, the energetic things in your body that's kind of blocking you from fully locking in. And when you really, really lock in, you almost get a sense of that feeling again, like natural, more free, relaxed feeling. It's like you start releasing all the energies that was kind of like blocking you from just tuning into your real alignment and your nature. So this has been my journey for a long time, and more I was doing this journey, I was also kind of having another journey in the relationship to the meeting of the center of the earth, because that's where you also really meet like the force of the earth, like the whole being, like this. It's where the energy is the most intense, and it really tells you about yourself in how you meet this energy. Because in the beginning, when I wasn't fully in my empowered state as like my light being, my full force, I was struggling with meeting that force, because this force was more powerful than what my belief of my power was. But eventually, as I started to awaken more and more to my power, as I started to take more and more of my power back, and that was a process also of taking my power back in every single place I was giving my power away, putting the responsibility on others, or being the victim to certain circumstances, or other people doing things to me, and instead of me being completely in control and in charge of my reality. So the more and more I started to take this power back, the more and more my ability to meet the center of the earth started to become more like this, like equals, not like this, because when you're like this, it's really intense to meet this force because it's more powerful than you. So I remember that day when I was able to just come eye to eye with this force. It's still a process of like being in that central core. It's still like a lot of intensity and a lot of energetic things that start to happen in your system. But it was a big shift. And but now, today, when I was doing this journey again, I asked myself, as I was doing the descent, and it was a little while since I had done it, and when there's been a while since you've done it, there's a lot of energetic clearing that happens in a way, like very much linked to this journey down into the center of the earth, and like hooking up your energy channel all the way down is this channel running up your body, the central channel, and the running up in the core of your being, in the front of your spine. It's where all your kind of energetic chakras are linked to this, in the different levels of this channel inside your body. And when you start to go down and connect this channel with all the way down to the center of the earth, this channel starts to clear. Because there's this natural recycling system we have with the earth and with our energetic structure, because we are children of the earth. Like, we're born into this atmospheric pressure. There's a relationship with us and the earth. There's even, you can measure it now, like you can measure when your body's grounded or not. There's this electromagnetic relationship between you and the earth, which it's a huge part of the well-being and the energetic charge and what's going on in your system, how you are connected energetically to the earth. So there's this natural recycling system. When you have your full integral grounding, like you're fully hooked up with the earth, like some nature people are, there's this natural recycling that happens of energy, because your field is kind of always hooked up to the channel beneath you. And when energy is kind of leaving your system, or like is ready to be recycled out as like experience that's coming into your system, it's naturally just being recycled down, and the earth kind of deals with the density and kind of recycles the energy for new experience on this planet, very simply put. But when you don't have this grounding on, that's when this energy can't be recycled. So it starts to get like in your energy field, it's like it's not doing this like beautiful recycling thing down with the earth. So when you then do the journey, you start to like travel down, this process starts, like you start to really recycle a lot of energy. And sometimes if you haven't done it for a while, it can be a little intense actually. There's a lot of like pressure, there's a lot of energy being like recycled through you, a lot of things leaving and you letting go. And sometimes energies is kind of staying with us because we're not able to let go. And a part of that process is to start really letting go of the densities that is now wanting to leave your system. And just letting go sometimes can just be a little intense, that on its own. Like really letting go, if you want to experience really letting go, like really letting go with your exhale. Like, we think maybe we exhale to some degree, but then there's like always so much more depth to your exhale that you can really let go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's when you start to notice it's almost a little intense to start letting go there, start letting go that deep. It's like this kind of physical tenseness, like this physical kind of angst of the ego, like holding on. And to really start letting go is a beautiful feeling, but it's also a little intense. It's a lot of like dense energies leaving. Not really digression, but so coming back to my journey today. Like I always learn something new every time I journey down into the earth, about myself and about my relationship to the earth and where I am in my relationship to the ground and grounding and this energy exchange system. And today I was doing the journey and I asked myself, because I hadn't done it for a while, and there was a lot of like intensity, it was a lot of energy like being pulsed through my system and a lot of energy shifting and being released, and it was a little then intense to journey downwards deeper and deeper. It's always like you can always feel where you are energetically in relationship to how easy it is to do the descent. Like when you're like it's like resistance. It's just because there's like different things in your system that's kind of making it harder to ground deeper. And it was a little bit of resistance this morning in my meditation. And then I asked myself, like, why? Like, why is it like this? Like, why do I have to keep redoing this? Like, why is this happening? Like, why am I suddenly now struggling with finding the connection to the center of the earth? Like, what does this? Like, why am I ungrounded in a way, energetically? And I suddenly realized, like, what takes me away from that full connection down is this kind of tenseness in my body where I'm like holding, and I realized that holding comes from every single thing I do that's out of my nature. Every single place I try to control or like not follow the natural flow and the natural rhythm of things. Everything has a flow, a rhythm. And it's been a little bit of a thing going on our planet lately, that we like to not follow the natural rhythm of things. We like to follow the ideas of our minds of how things should be done and how things should be. So it kind of hijacks this natural rhythm of how things flow and how things move and how you flow in relationship to everything. So I realized every single time I'm kind of controlling myself, like not following my rhythm in different situations, not doing what's natural to me in every single situation, I am taking away from my nature. I am like energetically out of integrity, and that also makes this channel in the center of my being out of its energetic integrity. It kind of cuts off the real deep connection down into the center of the earth. Like when I get really multidimensional about it, I'm seeing kind of like my whole energetic structure and how it's all like clockwork. And when I'm fully in my center, in my integrity, in alignment down into the center of the ground, it's like everything is this like beautiful clockwork of energetic flow in a way. And these spirals and this like field around me. And then when I am like not acting as myself, like controlling my real nature, this whole clockwork is like it's like binding up, and you're moved out of your nature. Like nature, your nature is also where you are in relationship to nature, to earth. It's the same place where I always like feel like there's all this information about like how to protect your energy, how to protect your energetic field, and like how to not take in energy. You don't really have to focus on that if you do what's right for you. Like if you follow your nature, because then you are always in your energetic integrity and you don't have to worry about these other things coming into your field and taking from you, because it doesn't really work like that. is when you move away from your nature. You're no longer in your integrity, and you kind of start to align with all these other things that is not you. But it's all, again, your responsibility. Like, all the power is here with you. And that's how you can meet the level, the earth, the center of the earth, like this, leveled, not like this. And that's how you can really be with that energy, how you can really lock in and connect to that energy. So yeah, every time I do that journey down, it's really just showing to me all the different things that kind of put my energetic field and structure a little bit of alignment from every time I moved a little bit away from my nature. And if you really want to explore nature, like your nature, you can say like it's the impulses and the instincts of your physical being, and like, for instance, like your sexual drive, or like your drive to procreate, or your nature has so many different degrees to it. Like you have the real nature of who you are. It's like this huge concoction of like your soul, your higher self, like your inner being, who you truly are, like who you are. And in every single situation, this being knows how to be truthfully yourself. But just think about how often are you really yourself, like fully free, relaxed, and just doing what you feel free to do and what you're pleased to do. Like in any kind of social situation, or sometimes the body just like, if you, for instance, start to just like notice energy and how you feel in any kind of situation, just like suddenly in a situation or a conversation, if I get really tuned into myself, my body just suddenly like, I'm done with this energy, and just like you just want to move away. Or maybe you need to lie down on the floor to kind of just like sink a little bit into yourself in a big social event, or like whatever it is. I'm not really finding like a lot of examples, but it's like, it's because your nature in every single situation is like, it's so unique. It can be like suddenly start to doing some weird movements because you need to move some energy up your spine, or you need to stretch out, or your hips are so done with sitting on the chair, you need to lie down on the floor. Or maybe it's just like expressing yourself in some way, or expressing some kind of sound, or suddenly feeling like you need to breathe in this manner, or say this, or act in this way. Or it's just like, it's so unique, and it's so spontaneously flowing through you, who you truly are, your nature. And we're not really having the space right now to fully be all that you are. But that's also cutting off a little bit of your relationship to your nature and to the nature, the ground, the earth, the sacred relationship to Mother Earth. So that unravels this whole process of just like really asking ourselves, like, where can we really start to open more and more, and allow this truly unique expression of source that you are. Like, where can you really start to allow all of that in, to also regain your relationship to the earth. That's all for now. Enjoy.